Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how I do my makeup for the Disney parks. This is the look. I'm going to show you how I got it. This is how I did my makeup the whole time we were in Disney. I think it's pretty much exactly the same as I did it last year when we went to Disney the one day and the Universal parks. I changed up my makeup, throughout the year, and I tried different things, but then I ended up coming back to all the same makeup that I was using. So if you want to learn how to keep your makeup on looking good and locked in through a whole day at the Disney parks, then keep watching. First step is primer. I use the Rimmel Stay Matte. I just put on like that much. This is really weird doing my makeup in front of a camera. I read a tip recently that says it's better if you put your primer on and leave it to sit for a few minutes. So some days if I have the time I do that. If not, then I just put my foundation right on. For foundation, I use the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. This is what I use for every day. When we were in Disney, I used a little bit darker of a shade because I was more tan. But I just put it on with a beauty blender, do a little pump like that, and then I usually do like one cheek, the other cheek, and my forehead. This stuff is really high coverage and it lasts a really long time. I wore it the whole day in Disney, and at the end of the day it was pretty much all still on. I mean, a little bit of it came up because, sweat and stuff. It's so tricky to get around my nose ring. About how much I put on my forehead. You really don't need a ton. A little bit goes a really long way. Most of the time I accidentally put too much on. I use the shade 4.5. If you get this foundation, it oxidizes a lot, which basically means once it dries down, it darkens quite a bit. So if you want to get it and you put it on in Ulta or wherever and you think, oh, this looks good, give it time to dry down, because last year when I bought it, I realized after I got it that it was a lot darker than I needed it to be. So then I just had to mix it with another foundation. For concealer, I use Tarte Shape Tape. I have the shade 22B Light Beige. This is really thick and full coverage. I have like really baggy eyes. Get them from my dad. Like, our under eyes are just really puffy. There's really nothing that can be done about it. You don't need a lot of this either. And I usually put a little on my chin, a little bit here. It looks really light, but once you blend it in and put your other makeup on, it doesn't look that bad. I think it looks a little more white in the camera, but in real life it's not as bright. I set it down with the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is 001 transparent. I just use the other side of my beauty blender, get a little on there, and then just like press it up against my skin. And so that kind of helps darken it a little bit so it's not so like white looking on my face. And I put a little down here. Try to put a little in here to help with creasing a little bit. I have really bad like smile lines, so if I wear foundation throughout the day, it like creases there and it looks like I have whiskers. It's really awkward looking. Just do right in here on my forehead. So my next step is contouring. It's kind of contouring. It's not like full-on contouring. Right now I've been using the butter bronzer to do like my contour part. I wanted to try it out and I got it really cheap on Prime Day, but it smells really strong like coconut and I'm not a fan of that. I just take a little bit, tap it off. I use a Morphe M405. I do a little here, do a little on my nose. Do a little under here. Then I do a little bit of bronzer over that. This is a little janky. This is the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Bronzer. It looks like the shade is Golden Days. I've had this since last May, and it's like it's literally lasting forever. I don't understand. The only thing is like the packaging, and I've heard this from a few different people, like this broke pretty easily, but it's an amazing bronzer. This is just a bronzer brush from Ulta. Just swirl it around and do a little bit over where I put my contour. I don't bring it as far up, like towards the front of my face. And then some days, if I'm lazier or not doing as full makeup, I won't do like the contour part with the butter bronzer. I'll just take this one. The butter bronzer doesn't have any like shimmer in it. This one kind of does. For my blush, I use Maybelline Fit Me. This is the shade Peach. I've also had this for a really long time. I apply it with the Morphe M427. It's not super pigmented, it's just a little bit. And then some days I do a little highlight because I want to be extra. I use the Maybelline Master Chrome. This is Molten Gold. I put it on with the Morphe M501. I'll usually put like a little tiny bit here and above my lip. Alright, next step is my eyes. I prime my eyes with the, this is like the longest name ever, the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot and Soft Ochre. That just helps my eyeshadow to stay on. I just apply it with my finger because I feel like it never goes on good with a brush. Anyone else, if you put stuff on your eyes with your finger and you wear contacts, does it like move your contacts all around? Because that's what it does to me. Once I put that on, I just put a little bit of powder on real quick to set it so it doesn't crease. For my brows, most of the time I use this e.l.f. brow pencil. It's like $2 at Walmart. I use the shade Taupe. So I just kind of brush them through a little bit before I put the pencil in. I just kind of like outline them really. They're so thick and dark, I don't really need to like fill them in. I just kind of give them more of a shape, I guess. When I was younger, at a dance recital, somebody brought in a face trimmer. And for whatever reason, I decided to like do my brows and I jacked them up and they've been really thick ever since. When I'm done, I just kind of comb them back through one more time just to smooth it out and kind of blend in any spots that are rough looking. My everyday makeup is pretty much always the same. Sometimes I'll do different eyeshadow, but for Disney I took this palette just because it's easy to have everything all in one. This is a Bare Minerals Nudes. I got it at TJ Maxx really cheap. So I take this one, it's called East, and I take this fluffy like e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. Tap it in there, swirl it around, tap off the excess, and then I just put it in my crease. You don't really have to do a lot because the brush is so fluffy, it just kind of blends it really easily. So let's talk about the fact that while I was doing my hair earlier, I heard a buzzing sound and I look up and there was a freaking wasp or hornet or whatever in my ceiling fan. I don't even know how it got in here. Rebuke it in the name of Jesus. So this is kind of like a transition shade. Then I do a little bit darker for the crease. This is a Morphe M433. As you can tell, I neglect cleaning my brushes. Just kind of keep it in the outer corner. I've always gotten a lot of compliments on my eyeshadow since I was like 15 or so. I've always loved playing with my eye makeup, and I think it just looks good on my eyes because I have really small eyes. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just the way that it sits on my eye because of my eye shape, I think that's just what makes it look different. It's more flat. It's not like round and behind my eye. I don't know if any of that made sense. So then I do a little tiny highlight in my inner corner. I use the Morphe E36. It's just a tiny little guy. And I use this shade's called Whipped. I just take a little bit of it. Just put a little bit in the inner corners. I always have to put something on my inner corners. I think it's because my eyes are so small. They look weird to me without anything in there. For eyeliner, this has lasted me forever. It's really easy to put on and it lasts forever. This is the Essence Super Last Eyeliner. It's waterproof. That's really helpful in Disney because when you sweat and stuff, it does not move. I don't know how I'm gonna do this on camera because I can't really see it as well. I usually end up doing like a slight wing. Some days, if I mess it up, it ends up being a much larger wing. Let's see how this goes. I'm just gonna start like a little before the halfway point in my eye. Wow, this is really hard. Hopefully that looks okay. I'm gonna do my other eye off camera so it'll go faster. All right, so there's my eyeliner. If you look up close and you really pay attention, they're never really matching. I think my eyes are slightly different shapes, like they're curved differently. For mascara, I use the, it doesn't say it on here, pretty sure it's L'Oreal Lash Paradise. Putting your mascara on just makes you look so flattering with your mouth wide open. How do beauty gurus do this and not look super awkward? I don't understand this. But anyway, I just put it on the bottom and then I put them like on the top of my lashes too and push down to really coat them. And usually once I put it on, I wait a second and then like do another coat. And then I just put a little tiny bit on my bottom lashes. Alright, so that's my full face. I just set it all with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This stuff is the real MVP. This is the thing that keeps my makeup lasting the entire day. We would get up and be running from like 7 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, sometimes even later. This keeps it all in place. I just shake it up a little bit and then just spray it pretty generously. If I'm gonna have a longer day or something where I want it to stay longer, I put more on. If I'm just going to work or whatever, I don't put as much on. When you put it on, don't move your face or else it's gonna make your makeup crease. Kind of fan it to dry it down a little faster. And voila, there's my makeup look. If you're going on a trip to a theme park, feel free to take some of these tips with you. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video. If you learned something, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.